In this video, I'll show you basically how to increase your trust score to the maximum possible, basically to avoid the 0 views jail, and basically increase the trust score a lot to basically enter the algorithm and not stay in the shadow. This isn't something I'm going to make up in this video. This is something I'm applying on all my channels. For example, on this channel where I made more than $24,000 in the last month, it's in a news niche that, as you already know, they have a pretty high RPM. And well, honestly, this channel is going pretty well. It already has more than 22,000 subscribers and has already made more than 2 million views in the last month. And it's still active and they haven't demonetized it or anything. But I don't only have this channel. I also have, for example, this other one where I also made more than $14,300 in the last month, also in a news niche, but in this case, more focused on military news. Basically, it's another format, but it's also working pretty well, as you can see. And basically, well, all these channels, I create them using the strategy that I'll show you in this video. That seems to me something essential that everyone has to have if you really want to be successful in Faceless YouTube. So in this video, I'll show you basically how to get a good trust score in a Faceless YouTube channel in 2026. I'll show you basically what you have to do and how you have to set up your channels and how the process basically works and all that. So the first thing you're going to need is an aged YouTube channel. That these are basically channels that were created in 2006 or in 2009 that basically have a ton of history. And basically these channels have a lot of trust in the algorithm. Because if you create a channel in 2026, well, the trust is going to be pretty low since these are channels that have been watching videos for 20 years. With a history built without breaking any policy for 20 years. I mean, it's a completely amazing trust score. That's why it's really necessary to have these aged YouTube channels. And it's pretty important, and they're much better than a new channel. Well, in my case, I get them here on this website that, well, you have the link in the description of this video. Here is where I get them that have a really good history, and also the delivery is pretty fast. But, well, what I like about this website is that the channels have a really good history. Because there are websites that give you the channels, but the history is a couple of videos, a couple of subscriptions. You can tell that the channel has never been active or anything really. Plus, on a lot of other websites, what they do is share the channel with several users. I mean, for example, I have gotten channels on other websites, and you go to the email of that channel, and you see how there have been a lot of logins from different IPs. And for example, this website, I've chosen it because I've seen the login history. And there wasn't any login, only the login of the account. I mean of the original IP where the channel was created and nothing else. There hasn't been any login from another city. That's why I really like this channel. I mean, I really like this website for these channels. Plus, if you use the code ETHAN10, you're going to get a 10% discount on your purchase. And well, that basically would be the first step to have an aged YouTube channel from 2006 to 2009. Then the next step is also pretty important since it affects your trust score a lot. I mean, the aged YouTube channel was really important, but the next thing you need is a proxy. Since your IP can also have a bad trust score, be flagged, have had a bad history with strikes, copyright warnings, or anything, or even that other people have used your IP or anything, your IP can be flagged. This doesn't only have to do with YouTube, it also has to do with Google, with things you've done and all that. So what I do in 100% of the cases is buy a proxy because basically you avoid all this. You get a residential IP that only you are going to have. It's a completely new IP that nobody else has ever used that has 100% trust from YouTube since it's an IP with the cleanest history possible. So the proxy for me is also one of the most important things. For example, well, to buy a proxy, well, you can go, for example, to this website. That here is where I buy them. Well, here you go to this website, for example, you click here on buy proxies. Here, basically you buy the proxy. The city, I mean the country where the proxy is from, honestly doesn't matter. In my case, I always select the US, although I've tried with other cities, I mean other countries, and I've had a similar result. So I don't think the country really matters that much. And, well, here you select the quantity you want, how long you want the proxy, and that's it. Although this proxy is always going to be yours. I mean, when you buy the proxy on this website, you're going to have that IP forever until you don't want to basically continue with it. So, well, you buy the proxy and then here you're going to have it. Then the only thing you have to do is click here on export and a text file is going to be exported basically with the credentials of the proxy. So basically we already have the credentials of the proxy. It's all correct. So the next step would be to connect that proxy and that YouTube channel we just bought. what we'd have to do would be to connect it to an anti-detect browser. That if you don't know what an anti-detect browser is, it's a program where, well, that it's like a browser that uses another type of browsers. It doesn't use Chrome. I mean, it uses browsers that hide your fingerprint. Well, they hide a ton of things. That's why it's so important. And plus, what it lets you do is connect your proxy to several profiles and be able to have several separate channels, each one with its own proxy. That's why it's so important, an anti-detect browser. In my case, I recommend AdsPower. That's the one I've been using, and it works pretty well for me. So now, what you have to do is go to AdsPower, and here you're going to set up your profile. I mean, you have to create a new profile. So you click here on New Profile, and then the only thing you have to do is basically go to where it says Proxy Setting. You're going to select Custom, and here you're going to basically put the credentials of your proxy. So the only thing you have to do is keep copying the credentials, and you're going to keep putting them here in AdsPower. And that's it, basically. It's pretty simple. There's not much more to explain. So you put the credentials there, and you already create the profile, and then you're going to be able to log in on the aged YouTube channel and everything without any kind of problem, and always hiding your original IP. So now it's going to open. I mean, once you connect the proxy, you're going to be able to open basically the AdsPower profile. And as you see, well, the IP of the proxy already comes up. Our original IP no longer comes up. So if something happens to this channel, if they demonetize you, if they delete it for spam, that's something that happens really frequently. So all your other channels and the ones you create in the future, since this also affects the ones you create in the future. If they ban you or demonetize one, so if they demonetize you here with a proxy connected, absolutely nothing is going to happen to them. That's why sooner or later, you're going to have to use a proxy. That's the smartest move in Faceless YouTube. Plus, obviously with its corresponding aged YouTube channel. So then when you already have the proxy connected to AdsPower and the profile configured, the next thing you have to do is warm up that account. Because I mean, the account itself doesn't have to be warmed up, because that channel already has a big history from a long time, as I mentioned to you before. But what you have to warm up more than the channel is your IP. So that's why you need to warm up the channel for 4 or 5 days. That actually what you're warming up is your IP. So what you have to do is basically watch videos for 4 or 5 days. Well, do what you want basically. Watch videos, like videos. It's not necessary that you watch videos of the niche you're going to start your channel in. It can be any type of video. Although I do recommend that you watch videos about the niche you're going to start in, but if it's boring for you, I've watched any type of video on a lot of channels, and there hasn't been any kind of problem, so you can perfectly listen to music or do what you want. What I do recommend is that you're not 24 hours with that profile open and watching videos. I mean, be a few hours each day, basically like a human would be, because I doubt that a human is 24 hours a day watching videos, listening to music the first time they connect from an IP. So YouTube isn't going to like that. So use it as if it was your normal account, a casual account, and don't try to watch a lot of videos just to force the warming up of the account. I mean, the warming up of the account isn't a thing of the more videos you watch. Basically, when warming up an account, what YouTube looks at is your cookies. Basically, the searches you do on YouTube, the likes you give to videos, all the click patterns from where you get into the videos, whether it's from search, from a direct link, or from recommendations. Basically, YouTube analyzes a lot of patterns. So if you stop using the channel like you use it normally, and you start to do different patterns that aren't normal, well, YouTube is going to check you more. What I do recommend is that when you finish warming up the account in 4 or 5 days, there you can already start to change the profile picture and all that. Although, under my experience, I don't recommend changing the profile picture or the description or absolutely anything until your videos have views. I mean, if your videos have few views and they have 20 views per video or something like that, I don't recommend that you change the profile picture. I recommend waiting until you have 1,000 views, 2,000 views. That usually is from 10 days on, more or less. There, I do recommend changing the profile picture. And another thing that also seems really important to me is that during the first 14 days or until your channel has views, that you don't include any kind of link. Since including links is something that YouTube takes pretty seriously, since you're redirecting people outside of its platform, and there are a lot of links that can be fraudulent. So, well, don't put any link until your channel has views, not an Instagram link. Not even a link to a Google document, not absolutely anything. I mean, 0 links in your videos. That for me seems something pretty important. And then when you've already done all this, you're going to have your channel correctly set up and ready to be able to start uploading videos. Remember the first steps. The first is to get a YouTube channel. For example, you can get it here on this website. That's the one I recommend. Well, the next step is also to buy a proxy. So the only thing you have to do is go here and buy basically a proxy, and then basically connect it all, warm up the account, and not include links in your videos. And you're going to be able to have the maximum trust score possible. And this is basically what I'm applying on all my channels. That's basically how I set up all my channels. And on all of them, I managed to enter the algorithm without any kind of problem. By the way, if you want to have results like this, you can join my academy where I give you 2 pre-monetized channels and the system to scale them to more than $20,000 a month. Basically, in this academy, I'll give you 2 pre-monetized channels so you can start to make money from day one. Since a lot of people take more than 3, even more than 6 months to monetize their channel, but you here already start the first day with 2 pre-monetized channels that are already making money. Plus, you get the complete course, my private systems that I'm making more than $50,000 a month with, the most profitable niches of 2026, my private strategies, and you'll also have access to me 24 hours a day to ask me whatever you want, and I'll help you with absolutely everything, and I'll give you action plans and absolutely everything so you can be successful. All right, obviously, the most important thing is that I give you 2 pre-monetized channels. This is something that no academy is going to do. I mean, this is an exclusive launch. Since obviously I don't have pre-monetized channels for everyone, I have a limited stock. All right, since it's a pretty exclusive product. Plus, giving 2 pre-monetized channels isn't something common. So if you want to take advantage of this offer, that there are only 3 spots available, you can go to the link in the description. Because you're going to, well, in the link in the description, you'll be able to join this academy that's not going to be available for long. Then here you can also see the results of the members that are making more than $10,000 a month, even more than $19,000 a month. And honestly, I mean, the first day you join, I already give you the 2 pre-monetized channels that are already making money. And then with my private strategies and my tools, you'll be able to scale those channels to more than $10,000 a month. I mean, the hard thing is to get the 2 pre-monetized channels, but I already deliver them to you in less than 24 hours. So if you want to join this exclusive academy, you can access through the link that's in the description of this video.